Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? I hope you're well. I'm a bit warm. It's not that hot, but it's quite high humidity today, so I might be a bit like anyway. Yes, gosh, motoring along. I've got a bit of a ragtag and bobtails kind of day. Oh, I don't know where that came from. Ragtag and bobtail, kids book, I think. Anyway, a real myriad jobs kind of day. All sorts of scrappy dappy little things to get done. And I quite like days like today because, well, put it this way, if today was, I'm trying to think of something, let's say today was, like when I did the bathroom window, that's pretty much it all day. It's like, do the bathroom window. Obviously, I'm this time between when I'm waiting for coats to dry and I can get on with other stuff. But essentially, at the end of the day, there's only one tick on the to-do list. Whereas today, there are so many little jobs. I'm hoping that there'll be about 30 ticks today. Yay! And no, it's not all to do with the flat. Life as well. I know some people are still being really impatient with me. But the fact is, you know, I'm not just... how to put it, I'm not retired. I don't have all day every day to just tend to the flat. I'm doing other stuff too. So amongst jobs today, I need to pop out shortly. I've got to go to the post office, do a couple of errands outside. I've got some stock for the shop to photograph, and actually the light today is perfect because it's quite bright, but because it's coming through thin cloud, it's sort of diffused, so there's no sharp shadows. So it's perfect light today, brilliant. So get everything photographed, uploaded, etc. into my shop. Yeah, anyway, there's all sorts of other stuff to do, but there's also some house stuff, some flat stuff, including... I'm going to show you a clip that I shot yesterday. I didn't do all the rest of this yesterday. It's a bit of a noisy day. So, hopefully, really hopefully this is the end of it all now. So go back a couple of weeks. In your time, it might only be, you know, a couple of videos ago. Hang on a tick. Obviously, we had that roof issue. The parapet wall at the back. The reason we started to look into what is going wrong here is because my neighbour downstairs, she was getting staining on her plasterwork, just into the wall a bit and then on the ceiling. So there was obviously some water ingress somewhere. So yay, we've done that roof job. But if you remember at the time, it completely wiped out the house fund that we all collectively pay into, even including the shop as well. We all pay into the fund to look after the fabric of the building. So it wiped that fund out completely. So we all had to chip in extra to get that work done. Well, now we all have to chip in extra again because we have to do the remedial work in her flat. So the plaster needs to come off, all the damaged plaster, so it needs to be replastered, repainted. Fortunately, the decor part of that job is fairly straightforward because it's all white. It's in her bathroom and it's all white, so that brings the cost down a bit. But yeah, so we need to get on with. So that started yesterday. It was really quite noisy, which is why I didn't do any other filming. So I'm carrying on today. So. Collectively, we all need to pay for that remedial work to be done. So while we're at it, there's a bit of a plaster issue right downstairs, right near the front door. So we'll get on with that too. All of us paying for that. But I think the fab thing at the moment is, I think it's partly sort of, you know, since I took care of decorating the top third of the house. So, sorry, all over the place. My energy is quite up today. Use it while it's up. Because people get confused about this in terms of who pays for what in this building. Because it's like we're not a commune, you know. if anything to do with the fabric of the building, roof, drains, walls, whatever it is, we all pay for, including the shop. So the shop and the 3 flats, we all pay for it. When it comes to decorating, that's up to us as individuals. So for the hallway, it's just going to be done, it's the 3 flats. The shop's not going to pay for the hallway to be decorated. Why would it? In the same way that if the shop had a refurbishment, we don't all pay for the shop to be refurbed and redecorated. It's nothing to do with the fabric of the building. So, yes, the plaster work, the remedial work, the damage that was done by the water ingress will be paid for by all of us, but the rest of the hallway. So anyway, yeah, I think it's my kind of getting on with things and wanting to make the place look better, and just because it's years and years, it gets tatty, it's rubbed off on the other 2 flats. So they've gone, yeah, well, we'll paint the rest of the hall then. So that's great. So the rest of the hall is being painted, and that's fab, because of course when I come to put my place on the market, then when someone comes through the front door at ground level, they don't have to come up through 2 floors of grotty, bashed hallway before they get to my nice bit. It'll all be nice. So yeah, decor is done by the individuals, fabric of the building is done collectively. So is that what I wanted to say? Yeah, I will, with this sort of the plasterwork, the remedial decorating from the water ingress, I can't remember what the bill, I think it's not too bad actually. I think the whole job, I think she said it's about 500 quid, so it's going to be 165 quid each. And, well, you'll see in this clip as well, I've been meaning for ages to get the front door done, the outside, so the street part of the door, the curb appeal, because it's really flaking, but also because the paint's flaking, you don't want the wood to rot. However, the weather's been rubbish, haven't got round to it, haven't made time, and the guy who's doing the decorating for us, he said, I can do it for you for a couple of hundred or something. So I think I've got to find now another 250 to get all this work done, but then that really should be it. And once again, like I said in that video a couple of weeks ago or so, when we realised that I'm pointing that way because the roof's that way, when we realised that this job is bigger than we realised, I was saying then about the importance of having savings funds, because you just never know when you're gonna need a bit of extra money. And if I didn't have those savings funds, there's no way I'd be able to find 250 quid. I mean, it's like half a month's earnings, but then I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. So yeah, it's just that reminder again. I know many of you are sensible and do this, but do try and, put aside 10% of whatever you've got coming in. Put that aside if you can, for emergencies. Right, so I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm now going to stop this bit of footage in that I filmed yesterday. This is the beginning of the work that's going on downstairs. I'm not going to take you into P's flat, that's private, to see that work. But yeah, this is the beginning of the work downstairs. Right, and on with the next job. That's my front door. Well, not my front door, it's our collective front door. Let me go down. Yeah, this plaster off. We've had issues here. You know what? If you're going to get jobs done, just get them done. So, yeah, I left him in peace to get down the stairs to do the work, but I just wanted to see. Yeah, that all looks pretty sound under there. I think it might have been, he thinks it might have been some kind of build-up of automatic condensation, but yeah, it's good to get that old plaster off. So that's going to be replastered, and then this bit too. Sorry, it's just so good to get all these jobs done now. So yeah, get the plaster replaced and then paint the rest of the hallway. My other two neighbours are taking care of this part of the hallway and the next bit up, because obviously I've taken care of the top bit, top third, so then I'm going to take care of the bottom 2/3. Oh, I'm so glad to see this job getting underway. It's been bugging us all for ages, and actually I was about to start work on the front door from the outside. Ollie's little note. Beware, wet on banisters. Yeah, I was going to tackle the front door, but partly we've had no dry weather, I've had no time, and actually our chap who's doing all this work and who'll be doing all the painting, he's given us a quote for doing it, and it's going to be divided by the three of us. And I thought, do you know what, it's not that much money, so yeah, agreed to let him, let someone else do it. That's not my, this is what I face. This isn't even the first floor. You can see it carries on. Yeah, I've got to the stage where things just take me so long. I won't go on about it, but yeah, there are times in life you think, you know what, just let someone else throw a bit of money at it. It's not that much money actually for the front door, and I'm better off spending that time. Oh, go on, Bennett. These stairs. Yeah, I'm better off spending that time sewing, doing some such, and actually earning money. See, it's all a bit of a mess everywhere at the moment, but banisters have had their first coat of paint on. Good. Our plaster guy, he's actually only going to do the walls banister. My lovely neighbour Pauline is doing. Good on her. Good for her. Right. Cracking on. Oh, I'm so glad that's happening. Yay! Just glad it's all happening. Yay! We're underway. Honestly, I'm so chuffed that the other two have said that, yeah, let's get the hallway done. It's it'll look nice again for the first time in years. I mean, the thing is, living here, one tends to look. I kind of don't notice the hallway because I'm so concerned about just getting up all blimmin' 60 odd stairs. I'm not looking around me, I'm just looking at the stairs, getting up them. But it just feels really lovely. There's a really good energy in the building at the moment in terms of, yay, let's get things done, let's be bright and fresh and clean and good as new again. Not quite new, but you know what I mean. So, right, that bit's done. Now I do need to go out and do a few errands, but before I go, I want to get something underway, because what I'm going to do is going to sit around for quite some time. So I want to get it underway now, so it's got a good few hours. It's something I've heard talked about over the years, and I thought, well, why don't I give it a try too? So come and join me. We're going to get down on our hands and knees on the floor for this job. I'm going to sit cross-legged probably, I don't know. But anyway, let's get down on the floor and see if this cleaning hack that I've heard about over the years actually works. Well, this is my next job to tackle, my kitchen threshold. I've actually just put, these are my recycling bin bags on either side. I haven't cut these bags up to use them because I'm hoping I won't mess them up, so that they're going to protect the floor for now, but when the job is done they can come off and I can still use them. So this threshold is a brass plate, but you can see, I mean, it looks quite, I'm looking at it through the screen that you're seeing, and I'm also looking at it in my real life. It looks darker here than in real life, but you can see as I cross the threshold, my feet shine up that bit of threshold, and either side it's much darker. Now, I don't mind that, a bit of patina, what have you, but it is actually looking a bit grubby, so I want to clean it up. But the big thing I want to do today is that piece of masking tape. It's over a screw that's proud, and that piece of masking tape's been there about 2 years to remind me to sort this out. Because, especially with hand-knitted woolen socks, I'll catch them on that screw, and then 2 minutes later, I'm sitting down and having to darn my socks again, which is really annoying. So I'm going to fix that today. And you might think, just screw it in. I do, and it pops out. So I think I need, I'll explain it when I sit on the floor. So that's the task, one of my little jobs today. And I've also just had an absolutely genius idea about this extra 250 quid I've got to find, because I've got it in savings, but I really don't want to be using my savings. I just had a bit of an idea. Right, let's get down and dirty, or should I say let's get down and start cleaning. Gosh, it is really muggy today. Okay, so firstly with the genius idea before we tip down and tackle this door plate. It's so heavy. My penny jar. If you remember, you might not have watched long enough, but this Christmas, I normally save up my pennies for Christmas. So I usually empty it out sort of first week of December, and not last year because it didn't happen, the year before, there was about 60 quid in there, which was brilliant. I had 20 quid for myself. I did a 20 quid shop for food bank, and then I did a 10 quid shop of chocolates and sweet treats for kids for the food bank, and a 10 quid shop on personal hygiene products. Brilliant. So yay, we all won. Now, I didn't do it this Christmas just gone. I'm going to put it down, it's heavy. It's coppers. I didn't do it this last Christmas just gone because it was holding one of the appliance doors shut. I don't need it now. And I suddenly thought, so I feel a bit bad. I'm not gonna do a food bank purchase with it. But in fairness, my income has dropped massively in the last 18 months. I can't afford. I mean, I do put stuff in the food bank every week. When I do my shopping, I'll always buy, a quid or so on a tin of chickpeas, a tin of soup or something to add. But I can't do a £40 food bank shop this year. What I can do though is I can use some of that. I can take it in, and that can be a chunk of money. That might cover that. If there's 60 odd quid in there, that might cover the front door. Yay! Told you, I'm a genius. Right, let me tip you down and show what I'm going to do with this threshold business. Okay, first things first, let's get this old tape off. Oh, it's going to bleed it. That's going to leave a mark, but I can get that off. Right, it's a flathead. Oh, see, and screw and screw and screw and screw, and it just doesn't bite, it doesn't stay down there. So I'm thinking I either need a longer screw or a fatter screw. Oh, how long is this screw? It's going on forever. Oh, I don't need a longer screw. That's already a long screw. So why is it not? I'm just going to tighten all the others up. I mean, I guess it's inevitable, isn't it, when there's constant traffic on this. You see, that's another one that, that's not biting either. There's constant traffic on this. I suppose it's inevitable that a couple of them may come a bit loose. Yeah, these aren't biting into anything. So I think what I need is my little box of tricks. is not necessarily longer, but fatter. Is that fatter? It's considerably shorter. Yeah, I want fatter because I want it to... Oh, that's fatter. I just want it to have something to bite into, as in the wood that's underneath here. Let's give this one a go and see. Of course it's a Phillips. But that's the great thing with these little things, isn't it? Is that you've got all your heads are there. Is this going to be too fat? Because of course there is the issue of there's a little in the plate itself. It's not going to pick up on camera, but it's ever so slightly sunk. I might have to... Oh, go on, Gertrude girl. I might have to stand up to... You know what, that might be enough. Have I got another one? Another two. Right. Oh, it's slightly proud there, because there is a little bit of a sink in the plate itself. There's a bit of a sink to take the head of the screw. Oh, go on, girl. Go on, girl. Get in. I might just do that one because those do sit. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, well, you know what? That one's in. I might leave the others for now. Hopefully get it a bit clean, and then if I think, oh no, I'll have a think on it. The main thing was to get it's really good at... Oh, you can't tell what I'm doing. I'm trying to grip it to pull this plate up, and I can't get it. That's really firm now. Okay, that'll do for now. I will have a think about this one later. But the thing is about cleaning it. This is so... Here is so... Oh my goodness, it's soft. It's silky smooth from 20 years of my feet landing on it as I scooch through into one room or t'other, and then yeah, it's pretty grubby. And like I said, I don't mind a little bit of patina, but this is too much. So actually I'm going to tip you up again just while I explain what I'm about to do. Oh my goodness, it is a really sticky day, so excuse my sticky looking face. Right, so one of the things I've heard about over the years for cleaning our brass, tomato ketchup. Got a little bit here, and I've got a new one to start. So I was doing a bit of a tidy up in my food cupboard. If you remember, I mentioned about putting all the dates on things. It's upside down because this lives on its lid now. Yeah, it's having a bit of a little bit of a recce in there. What have I got? What needs using up? And I thought, gosh, I haven't used tomato ketchup for ages. I don't think I've used any tomato ketchup since the winter. I like a little splodge of tomato ketchup on my beet burgers. But that's pretty much the only time I use it. So this has been sat in the cupboard for ages, not refrigerated. Now, I know that obviously tomato ketchup is a way of preserving tomatoes because of all the vinegar in there. And it's well within its use by, best before, sorry, let's say best before, not used by. It's well within that, but I just got the hink a bit thinking, is it still going to be good to use anyway? And then I suddenly thought, I know, I'll use it on my doorstep, on my threshold, because I've heard so many times, and for years and years, before the advent of TikTok and hacks, before the word hack was even ever used, it used to be, once upon a time you'd read a book and it would be Book of Household Hints and Tips. Hints and tips. Let's bring back hints and tips and get rid of that horrible word hack. Anyway, over and over again I've read that Tommy Ketchup can to help clean your brass. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to smear tomato ketchup all over the threshold, but I thought what I'll do, I'm going to blob it on and then I'm going to spread it out with a paintbrush. It's going to stink, isn't it? And yeah, so I didn't really, because I've never done this, I wasn't sure how long to leave it. I had a fantastic book called 1001 Household Hints and Tips. Can't find it. I think I've lent it to someone and never got it back. So I resorted to going online. And there's various times given. You know, some people have said leave it for an hour. Some have said leave overnight, leave for 24 hours. So I thought if I do this now, first-ish thing today, get it on, and then we'll just leave it and then we'll come back to it this evening. Actually, should we have the fun of splodging it on together? Right, you're gonna come down a bit. You're gonna tip down. There we go. Let's get some tomato ketchup going on. It does feel, splodgerama. Oh, it's going to stink the flat, isn't it? You know what? Vinegar stinky flat, but also, the smell of it. It's like, I've had a completely Pavlovian response to that. My painting with tomato ketchup. Oh, would you Adam and Eve it? I'm immediately now, I want burgers. I want a beet burger. Do you know what? I've got to say though, it don't smell so good on the floor of the kitchen as it does on a beet burger. I don't know how thick to do it. I don't think it would need to be particularly thick, would it? Because it's the acid in the tomatoes and the vinegar which are doing the job. Yeah, well that my friends is why I put stuff on the floor either side. But I can just, these bags, like I said, I don't want to just chuck them. So once the job is done, I could just wash the bags. You know what? I think that'll do. Pooey. Yeah, hang on, I'm going to bring you back up to me a second. I think that'll do. It does humple-dink a bit. Pen and ink, humple-dink. Yeah, I'll get this washed out. And then, okay, so what do I need to just go and look at my list, of course. So I think what I'll do is I'll leave that now for as long as possible. Oh, look, I'm all backlit. Leave it a few hours, maybe leave it till about, say, 5 or 6 o'clock this afternoon. I'm going to go out and do my outside errands now. Then when I come back, I'm going to talk about, there's a little bit more cleaning, and specifically the grandfather clock and a little bit of family history, my family history that I don't think any of you know anything about, but it's really rather special. So I'll see you on here in just a couple of seconds, but in real life, in my time, it'll be a couple of hours. See you in a tick. Yay, all the errands are done. I've just come home, come through the front door. It's like, oh God, stink of Tommy ketchup. Right, there's a reason I'm standing here. I just want to talk about cleaning. Let me just twist you all around so we're going to have a squeaky clunky moment. The other day, I was sitting at my sewing table, I glanced up and I thought, it's on the slant, so you're going to get reflections, so we'll push it in again. Yeah, I was just looking at the grandfather clock and I thought, now obviously I dust it, I always dust it. I don't use any polish on it, leave it alone. So this clock is from, let me come back, you can see it in all its glory, this beautiful long case clock. I'm going to sit and tell you about history in a second rather than stand and do it. but it's about 1800 this clockmaker was working, Charles Walford. So this clock is, 220 odd years old, 2¼ centuries old. So in terms of cleaning it, yes, I dust it every week. It gets a flick of the duster, including the glass. You see, I wonder if it will pick up. Will it pick? Yeah, you can see it. The glass is cracked, but this is 200-year-old glass, more than 200 years. I mean, it's a battered old clock. You can see there's a piece of veneer missing there. It doesn't matter. I love it. But when I looked it up the other day, I thought, it is looking kind of grubby, so I've washed the glass inside and out. And to do it really, really, really gently with just a bit of soapy water, dishwashing water, really, really hardly any soap at all. Gently, gently, gently does it, especially around the area up there where it's cracked. It's been cracked all my life. And then just finished it off with a bit of vinegar to make sure it's really clean. Not vinegar, sorry, rubbing alcohol to make sure it's all clean and streak free. But I just want to show you inside as well. Now, this face and the hands, beautiful. They're so delicate. They're so delicate. Oh, it's so very, very delicate. For all the time when I was a kid, as in a little kid, we didn't even really know what the painting was up there. It's like a little folly. But also all this golden hair. It was really quite dark and grubby. And it wasn't until, I don't know, about 1980 or so that my mum paid to have it cleaned. This clock, actually, my parents, there's a whole chunk of history here. I'll tell you very quickly though, my parents bought this in, of all places, Swanage. There used to be a furniture shop called Bishop's. I can't remember if it's still there, but they bought it at Bishop's in, gosh, maybe 1960 or so before I was born. My mum got it in the divorce. Anyway, so she had it cleaned up and it was such a revelation. Oh my goodness. The picture appeared, the gold appeared, and these hands, as far as I knew, they were black. And suddenly they're not, they're in, well, brass, I guess. So pretty. So what I would say is, if you've got an antique long case clock, and you know what, that you can get them not too expensively. I'd far rather have the antique version than the reproductions. I think reproductions, I don't like reproduction anything, but that's beside the point. So if you've got an antique one like this, when it comes to cleaning the face, the hands and everything, leave it to an expert. This is like having an oil painting restored. So yeah, please don't touch it. Please get an expert in. Yes, it's going to cost a bit of money. But when it comes to the glass, yeah, you can clean your own glass, but just do it really, really, really gently. Now, it's not ticking, it's not wound at the moment. There's no point, because anyone who's ever had a grandfather, or let's give it its correct term, a long case clock, will know that every time you move them, they're so temperamental. They do not like being moved. They don't like a change in temperature. So there's no point. I'd have to get my clock. I've got a local clock guy. He would come in, tinker, 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 and get old grandfather working again. But there's no point, because when I move, when this beautiful old gent goes to his new home, he's not going to be happy, so he'll need doing again. So I'm going to leave it for now. Now, how I came by it, I'll talk about in a second. But just while we're here as well, looking at artwork and stuff, again, when I'm doing my weekly cleaning, I dust the glass. But how often do any of us actually really wash the glass in our artwork at home? I mean, honestly, I haven't washed the glass in these two. I'm trying to get away from reflections. Yeah, I haven't actually washed the glass in any of my framed artwork for about 7 or 8 years since I last decorated. So I'm going to have all the artwork off the walls today too, which gives me a chance to just dust behind, because there's always a bit of dust behind pictures. give the walls a dust, but scrub the glass again. It was unbelievable. Once I'd done the grandfather clock, oh my goodness, it's like, oh, I can see it properly again. So that's what I'll do. They'll all come off, and again, just using mild soapy water to wash any grime off, and then finish off with either rubbing alcohol or vinegar just to get them streak free and gorgeous again. So let me just quickly tell you how I came to end up with our family's grandfather clock. So the reason I ended up with this gorgeous old boy, it's amazing though, isn't it, when you think that clock, all that mechanism, it was built by someone's hands 225 or so years ago. I love that. But the reason I have it is because my mum replaced it, and it's so exciting. Now, my grandma and granddad, my mum's parents, didn't have much to do with my dad's parents. My mum's parents, grandma and granddad, their surname is Field. Grandma and granddad Field. How perfect for people who live in the countryside and live as much as possible off the land. So my granddad Field comes from a long line, actually so does my grandma's side, but a long line of cabinet makers, lace makers, etc., etc. So I come from a family there's history there in terms of self-sufficiency, but more than that, of using one's hands to earn a living. And I love that. I really, really love it. I love all art, artisans, crafters. I've got to remember how many greats. My great times, I think 5 or 6. My great times 6 grandfather, Thomas Field, was actually a really famous clockmaker. A renowned clockmaker. 1770s, 1780s, so 250. So a little bit before my grandfather clock. My great times, however many, grandfather Thomas Field was also making clocks. And for a long time, my mum had, sort of out of sentiment, wanted a Thomas Field clock rather than this one. And she finally found one. It came up for auction at quite a reasonable price. She could afford it. So she snapped it up and said, well, I'm going to get rid of this one. And I said, oh, I'll have it, please, because to me it's that, amongst all the chaos of my childhood, that tick-tock of this clock was constant and like a heartbeat to me, and I loved it. And its tick and its tock are slightly off. They're kind of syncopated, so it's sort of more of a tick-tock, rather than a tick-tock, tick-tock. It's not metronomic. Tick-tock, tick-tock, locked up, locked up. Who here was a nursing student? Locked up. It's like a heartbeat. So I said, yes, please. And then sort of had to pay for transport to get it down here, which was a chunk, but for me it was well worth it. That's the heartbeat. Anyway, so yeah, my mum ended up with one of our great granddad's, however many's, long case clocks. It's funny because she got it after remember I went up to see her in, I think, 2018. She just recently moved, and that was the first time I saw the new clock she got, the Thomas Field, our great granddad. And it's very pretty. I actually prefer this one. Sorry, great granddad. But also its chime. I much prefer this one's chime, because the one my mum has now, the chime it's a bit of a higher pitch. It's a bit of a thinner pitch. It's more ting 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 rather than dong dong dong. I prefer a dong to a ting, as it were. God, that's something. Anyway, so I come from a long line of, like I said, cabinet makers, lace makers, and also clock makers. Yeah, look him up, Thomas Field. He started in London and then ended up in Bath. So I think if you look up records, you're more likely to see him mentioned associated with Bath. Thomas Field, clockmaker, Bath, around that sort of late 18th century, so late 1700s. Anyway, gosh, I've been waffling for ages, I realise, and it's starting to get, I don't know if you could tell with the tone of light in the picture, it's starting to cloud over, so I want to really skedaddle now and go and do all my photography, tons of other stuff this afternoon. So I'm going to love you and leave you for now, and then let's hook back up. Poo stinky. We'll hook back up in a few hours and see how the Tommy ketchup has done on the floor. I don't know what I'm expecting to see. I'm looking at it. What, is it going to bubble and hiss and fizz? No, of course not. Is it going to do anything? I don't know. I hope it does, because otherwise I've got a lot of mess to clear up for nothing, but at least that screw is now down and in and secure. Good. I'll see you in a few seconds in your time, in my time, much, much later. Off I go and get some other stuff done. Phew, it's a few hours later. Oh, I'm really hot now. I've been scrubbing. So I've done all my artwork, all my stuff that's on the walls, and well, this one in particular was really grubby, but that's because, well, we've had 2 winters with fantastically sky-high fuel bills, so we've all been doing the same thing, haven't we? Keep the heating off, keep the oven off, keep the lights off. I mean, it's absurd. So yeah, there's been a lot of candle action for the last 2 winters, and this hasn't been cleaned in the interim. I'd forgotten that the mat was white, it looked cream. Anyway, done, all the artwork's done, but I'm particularly pleased. It's been, how long has it been? I left it on for about 5 hours. Whoa. Look at it. If I put my head here, look. Hello. Look at this shine on that. Can't speak, them upside down. Yeah, so I think it's worked really quite well. Look, it was a filthy, messy job. What a messy job. I've now got a kitchen bowl full of cleaning cloths, which are sopping with tomato ketchup. I'll give them all a good rinse out. So yeah, got all the worst of the tomato off. Wet cloth, wash it, wash it, wash it. And it had really done a good job on, particularly on, you know, on the ends. I mean, you can see I didn't quite get in where the door is. It had done a really good job. So gave it a wash. And then I've just used a tiny bit of brass polish on it to buff it up. And I'm chuffed with that. Right, let me sit down to round up. Oh, pink, sweaty face. I haven't even bothered to get the tripod out for this, but yeah, just really quickly. I've done loads of other stuff this afternoon in between putting that ketchup on the threshold and now cleaning it. And now I know there are going to be people who say, oh, it's not going to make any difference. The buyer's not even going to notice it. It's not about the buyers all the time. Not everything in life is about the buyers. I've wanted for ages to try that tomato ketchup trick. It's worked. It's worked a treat. And like I said, it was about 5 or 6 hours it was on there. And I think if I'd left it overnight, it might have even, brought more off, or at least made it easier, the scrubbing bit. So I was curious to try that. So why not try it today? Because in fact, actually doing it, the clean up, I would say that's been about 15 minutes of clean up, wash it down, pop a bit of polish on, buff it. So it's not like I'm doing these jobs and they're taking loads and loads of time. I'm doing it all around other stuff. So I'm really glad to have given it a try. It works. I'm loving looking at my artwork, my grandfather clock now, and all the glass is sparkling clean again. Yay! And of course all that's coming with me when I move, so yeah, clean it. More than that, it's only about, what time? It's getting on for about 6. Oh, I've done all my photography as well. So now this evening I'll do one of 2 things this evening. No, I'll do 2 things. First of all, I'm going to go in the kitchen on the computer and upload all my shop stock. then I can edit this video, because if I edit the video first, it takes so many hours, I won't get a chance to put the stock in, so do the stock first. And then once this starts, it'll be about 8 o'clock, I think, the computer will take over the work for this video, and then I can cook some dinner and enjoy looking at my list with so many ticks on it. Yay! All right, gorgeosities, I think that's more than enough for today, isn't it? I will see you all again really soon. Not sure what we'll be doing next. Actually, maybe, no. I think because the work in the hall, I'll show you when it's done, but I think it's going to be another week to 10 days or so. Boiling. Someone asked me recently, you know, in a nice way, about now that I'm not in the garden, do I worry that I'm not... You know, do I worry that I'm going to seize up? Maybe I should take up yoga so I keep, you know, bending and stretching. And I replied, don't worry about it. At the moment, I barely sit still for 5 minutes. I'm constantly moving and, you know, yeah. So that's not an issue. About to waffle. Instead, I will say, see you all really soon. In the meantime, please look after yourselves, keep well, and keep, you know, chipping away at all of your long overdue jobs too. Until the next one, cheerio.